Hi, this video is going to show you how you import your herbs, probably the most important part of the setup process. You can import herbs whenever you want, but when you initially start out, there are no herbs in your dispensary. That's because everyone's doing herbal medicine differently. They want different herbs in their dispensary. So we have some CSV Excel files that you can work from, which takes a lot of the hard work out for you. And if you reach the help spot for importing new herbs, you're going to be given a link to this page, at least a list of different herb types. We have Chinese, we have Western herbs. We're going to do the examples today with the Chinese herbs. And so what you're going to want to do is download this file to your computer and open it up. I'm going to save it. So Chinese herbs list. I mean, you can work probably right from Google, but it's probably easier if you have Excel on your computer. And there's not too many fields in here that are mandatory. A lot of them are optional fields, so you don't have to worry about feeling overwhelmed with having to fill out all the data. And you can always come back to it as well later. So we can import it and then export it and then update the file and then re-import it again, and it's going to make any changes in your dispensary that you make to the file. But we first initially want to get it in. So we'll start out with column A as your SKU number. Your SKU number is basically whatever you want it to be. It's just an identifying number for you. You can make it up. It could be the supplier SKU number. It doesn't really matter. So you can use the ones that are here even, and you can change them later. And then we have different herb names. We have the English name, the Pinyin, the Latin, the Chinese. We even have Japanese and Korean. You need one of the herb names, one of the first four actually. You don't need them all, but you have them all here, and that's probably the most time-consuming part of this process, is getting all the herb names accumulated. And it's good to have as many herb names as you can, just so you don't make a mistake in the future with prescribing the wrong herb or uploading the wrong herb. And then we have a lot of optional data. So we have properties, channels, daily dose high, daily dose low, cautions and contraindications, actions. So if you want to fill those out, you can. I mean, it's just data in your dispensary. It's not really usable right now, and it's just for your reference. And then we have status. So status is a mandatory field. We basically have two statuses, publish and draft. So publish means that it will be available for a practitioner to use in a custom formula. So it's essentially active on your dispensary. And draft means that it's not active. So you can have it in your dispensary, but people won't be able to build custom formulas with it. And you can enter the brand name if you want. And for your initial import, if you enter any brand name here, it's going to automatically be created for you in your dispensary. And the same goes with supplier. So I have here enter your supplier, but we can erase that. And if you want to, you could enter the supplier for the herb. Okay, and you could enter a description. And we have a reorder level. So this reorder level means that for this particular herb, if the stock level goes below 100 grams or 100 mils, then it will show up in a report that it's low on stock. So each herb could essentially have a different number here, because some herbs you're going to go through fast, or some herbs you want to keep more in stock. So you can change these numbers, and you can also change the numbers in the dispensary as well. So you may not know right now what these numbers are going to be. And you can assign a category to the herb, and you can enter the herb type. So the herb type is mandatory. We have raw, granules, tinctures, and concentrates. So for this example, we're going to do granules. So we'll just write granules, and it has to be granules with an S. And in that help document online, it goes through each column, and it will tell you exactly how you need to word everything. So I think we have about 366. Oh, something went wrong there. Let's try that again. Copy it, and I'll copy it down. Okay, there we go. And if your herb has an alcohol in it, like a tincture, then you can enter the percentage of alcohol. So let's pretend that was 40%. And you don't need to add the percentage sign. So you'd have like 50%, maybe 35%. Since these are granules, they're non-alcoholic. And then you're going to set your selling price. So the way prices work in the dispensary is per herb. So each herb could be charged a different price. Now, as you can see, I've made them all 10 cents per gram, or milliliter if it was a tincture. You can change that. You can leave it how it is. You can update it later. We actually have a master page in the dispensary where you can control your prices really easily, but you could always come back to this import file and update it. And then we have the cost price. So that's another mandatory field. If you don't know your cost price for every herb, because that may be very tedious at this point, you can enter a cent or you can enter 10 cents. The data is used for reporting purposes to show you how much money the herbs are costing you. So it'll tell you your margins. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. And then we have the ratio of the herb. So granules do have a ratio, and we can enter the ratio. So if it's a 5-to-1 ratio from raw to granule, then you can just enter a 5. So that's 5-to-1. And we could copy that down. And some of the herbs may have different ratios. So if it was a 10-to-1, you could enter 10. And then we have a lot of other optional fields. So the system allows you to charge different prices based on how much of the herb is in the custom formula. So you don't need to do that if you want to. It will by default charge the selling price. So for instance, we have different ranges. So if they order between say 1 and 10 grams, 0 and 10 grams, and 10.1 to 25 grams, and 25.1 to 50 grams. We then have our price slabs as well. So from 0 to 10 grams, we're going to charge 10 cents. And from 10.1 to 25 grams, we're going to charge 9 cents. Oops, let me do that again. And then from 25.1 to 50 grams, we're going to charge 8 cents. And this allows you to give price breaks based on the quantity of the order. And you have 5 ranges. You don't have to use them all. You don't have to use any. You can just leave them blank. So it's all good. And if you're so inclined, you can upload an image for the herb as well. And you would enter a website address here, and that would lead directly to the picture, and then it would grab that picture and upload it. You can also upload pictures in your dispensary as well by uploading it from your computer. And when we're happy with everything, we can save this file. I'll save it to my desktop so I can find it easy. So Chinese herb list 2. I'll replace it and save. And then we can go back to our dispensary. And to upload it, we're going to go to the admin, and then settings, and then data. And then we're going to hit import new data. And we're going to find that file, Chinese herbs list 2. It's right at the top. And then I'm going to hit review. So it's going to check the data to make sure everything's okay. So something is wrong here, so it's kind of good that it's happening. Ooh, category, category, category. Let's go check our file. Let's try to save that again. Granule import testing, CSV. And let's reject that and import new data. Oh, you know what? I was on the categories. That's why that happened. So that you have to hit herbs. Even Jason makes mistakes. There we go. So everything is good there. And if there's any problems, it would highlight it in red, as we saw before. And give it a second. There we go. So the herbs were uploaded. And then we can go into our catalog where that's where all the information is stored, and we're uploading single herbs. And then we can go to granules, and here they all are. You can sort that. And that's how you upload herbs. And if you have any problems like I just did, like I imported it into categories by accident, let me know. I can look over your file. We want to make this as easy as possible. You really only have to do this once, so now all the herbs are in there. And just quickly before I finish off, we could go and we could export the data and herbs, and we could export our herbs. And then we're going to open it up. There it is. And it assigns an ID to all the herbs. So now that other file we use, it's garbage, get rid of it. Whenever you have to make a change, you need to export it. Now we can make changes. And then when we re-import it, it's going to know that for each herb, this is the herb ID, and it's going to make changes to the proper herb. So we can now update our SKUs. We could change our reorder levels, we could change the status, we could do whatever we want, we could add more brands and suppliers. And also, if the file doesn't have all the herbs you need, all you need to do is create a new row, enter the name of it, make a SKU. You can't add new herbs in this file. You have to do the same thing we did before, adding a new import without the herb ID. Because you don't want to add all the existing ones again. But for your initial import, if the file is missing any of the herbs that you need, just add them to the list and then import them like you normally do. And there's another video on just adding herbs one by one from the admin. So you don't always have to import it like this for new herbs. So as you go along, you may start carrying a new herb or acquire a new herb for your dispensary. You can just add one herb, and then you just have to fill out a form, and it's simple. All right. Thank you so much.